What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, the road to WrestleMania with 16 days to go. Welcome to Tuesday here on the show. Certainly some news, and certainly some stuff from the Raw after WrestleMania last night. But before we get into Raw and the ramifications therein, there was a lot of Brock Lesnar talk in the past, 48 hours. There's a lot of what is going on with Brock Lesnar. And I can tell you what we do know that it is confirmed is that Brock Lesnar has re-signed. We don't know for how long. We do know that he will be defending that title against Roman Reigns at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So the Saudi princes who are funding this whole thing had enough money, clearly, to afford getting Brock Lesnar to leave his farm and come and defend that belt overseas. So that's a good thing. But also, it's in a cage match. So I think that allows Roman to, A, win the belt without having to pin Brock. Brock does not get pinned. And B, I don't know if that country is kind of like India, where they're huge marks for Roman. Like, he would get over way huge in India. So I'm not sure if that's kind of the same thing where the crowd is perhaps not as up-to-date on all the backstage rumors and everything else, and they're just kind of really just into the show, which certainly for a crowd is ideal. But I don't know. That's going to be an interesting case of, all right, if you have Roman win the belt there, if the whole plan for Mania was to have Roman win the belt later on at this show just to get a better reaction, because you knew they weren't going to cheer him at a Mania crowd. They weren't going to cheer him last night at Raw, obvious. Whether or not that happens, I feel totally depends on how long has Brock Lesnar re-signed for. And that has been a major bone of contention, because I've heard either a super short-term deal like a Chris Jericho, like he's signed for 2 appearances and for 2 months, and I've heard multi-year. So which is it? Because those are very, very opposite things. And I don't think anybody outside of, say, perhaps Brock and Vince knows for sure. But they've also re-signed the services of Paul Heyman, because of course they would. That makes a lot of sense. And so, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Oh, and also, Brock apparently has at least one more UFC fight, and that is the plan to have him fight while he is still employed by WWE. So he's doing both again. So there's that. And yeah, so a lot of Brock talk in the past 2 days. So they certainly swerved us there at Mania. Everyone was like, oh, Roman's going to win, Brock's going to do his thing, and keeping in mind that Brock still has to finish out his suspension for doping in UFC. So he's not going to fight for at least 6 months, 8 months, something like that. So, oh boy, he can slap a tornado and render it obsolete. Wonderful, yes. Anyway, on to your Raw after WrestleMania, which is usually one of the best Raws of the year just because of A, the new faces, and B, the crowd. And speaking of which, they had to give the same speech they've been giving now for the last couple of years. Oh right, it's an Inferno match. I forgot about that part. I totally spaced on that part. Totally. Oh no, Morrison, I gotta hit... no, this is gonna be a... talk about stacking the deck here. Jeez. They gave the same speech they've been giving every year for the past couple of years, which is, oh, don't worry, folks at home watching on TV. It's a non-traditional crowd. Non-traditional. They cheer who they normally boo. They boo who they normally cheer. I'm like, look, the only reason, literally the only reason they give that speech is because those crowds boo Roman Reigns. That's the only reason. Go back and watch a Raw after Mania, before Roman was on the main roster. They don't give that speech because it wasn't necessary. You didn't have to go, oh, we're going to explain away the fact that why fans are just booing the crap out of Roman Reigns. It's really funny. It's really funny. Alright, we need to actually start hitting some finishers here. 1. We have that was a minute wasted. It's a minute wasted. There's no way. 2. Finisher fest in that Inferno match. Yeah, it takes way too long to actually hit the, punch him. No, punch. What are you doing? Cena, what are you doing? You do that, and then... No! No, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make this finisher fest. So, Triple H is going to win because he got 9. He got 8 or something. Wow. They are just hamming it up here. Hamming it up here. Yeah, this is... I wonder if you can actually beat this. Like, this is actually possible to successfully do with 3 dudes. Basically, it's a handicap match. Hit. Do a thing. Cena. I hit. I'm hitting Y. It's like... There we go. It's not going to matter. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Apple Juice. Monday Night Raw had your number of returns and a number of debuts, and you know it's hey fresh faces, and that's always enjoyable, right? So I'm digging that. And we'll get into some of those here as soon as this match, I guess, is over. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, and he reversed it. Now I'm extra not going to make it in the next 20 seconds here. Which is not happening. I got 5. That's pretty good. I guess if you try hard enough, you could probably get 9 here. You could probably get 9 here. 4, 3, 2, be jealous. 1, 0. Yay.
Time has run out on John Cena.
Couldn't do it.
And it could not top Triple H's score. If the Big Show can't beat it, the game will take the point in the finisher marathon. And we'll see Big Show in action next.
Hooray.
Marathon indeed.
Well, okay. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered.
That was insane. Next week, the challenge will emanate from the home of Big Show, ECW. What will Show have in store?
I could have sat there and hit retry over and over again, and then finally hit 9, and then it would have been like, oh, sorry, Big Show got 12. I wonder if you can actually, well, I would say considering how long it takes John Cena to actually do that move, whether or not you actually be able to do that successfully. I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say the game might just find a way to screw you either way, because the cutscenes are made for that.
I'm John Morrison, and 4 out of 5 dentists wish that they could be me.
What about the 5th one?
There's no accounting for taste.
And I'm the guy your daddy tried to bribe to take you out? The Miz.
The Miz.
Welcome to the Dirt Sheet, live on ECW. Since this is the 3rd week of the Champions Challenge, we were going to recap things.
Our large friend Big Show is dominating so far, like we all knew he would. Miz and I will take partial credit since his Q rating has climbed 55% since he started hanging out with us. Since it's painfully obvious, Big Show is the better man.
Not to mention, he has much cooler friends.
True. For tonight's Champions Challenge, he decided to handicap himself. In his match tonight, one of his Champion of Champions opponents will choose whether Big Show cannot run, cannot reverse attacks, cannot attack a downed opponent, or cannot use his finisher.
What?
To make things fair, both Cena and Triple H will have one of these same handicaps imposed on them. But it's not like they're gonna win anyway.
So sit back, put your arm around your imaginary girlfriend, and watch our gigantic amigo, Big Show, dominate yet again.
Be jealous.
Weirdly using video game terminology in your in-ring promo, you can't attack a downed opponent, is really weird. I don't know.
Big Show has set the precedent, and now we'll see how John Cena does. Triple H will be selecting his handicap in the match.
Oh no. What is my handicap? What do we got? What do we have here? Cena vs. Umaga. Win the handicap chosen for you as fast as possible. Umanga. Anyway, Raw. Your debuts. We have Ember Moon being called up after losing the title on TakeOver. That's cool. We have No Way Jose. Now, I have to hope he'll do better on the main roster than, say, Adam Rose did, but only time will tell on that thing. Very similar type gimmick for that whole thing. We had the often rumored and now confirmed Bobby Lashley, which actually got leaked out a little bit beforehand as someone saw them testing his graphics, which is really funny. He's like, oh yeah, I guess he's here then. And he attacked Elias, so I guess we're going to get him and Elias for a bit. And the Authors of Pain got called up and then totally ditched Paul Ellering, which is like that. I'm curious how that's going to work without having that dynamic on the main roster. Ellering has said before he does not want to travel, which I don't blame him. He's up there. He's old. But I'm wondering how that's going to translate without having him, considering that's kind of part of what that made that whole thing work when they were in NXT for so long. We had the return of Samoa Joe. Finally, Joe is back. Joe is in the building to run down Roman Reigns once again. And Jeff Hardy also has made his return. So, curious for SmackDown. If I had to wager a guess, perhaps Big Cass, because he's also cleared and good to go. Did not see Big Cass on Raw. Now, what's most important here is that next week, the Superstar Shakeup is confirmed. Not a draft, it's a shakeup. It's the same thing. And so, you wonder how many of these debuts and returns are even going to stay on the same brand, considering that we have a shakeup next week. Obviously, also very curious to see who's going to show up on, what is my... I can't run. I can't run, is my stipulation. Weird. I'm hitting the run button. I can't run. That's really funny. Alright then. As fast as possible. So, we have an answer for our Raw Tag Team titles that were won by Braun Strowman and Nicholas, in that they are now vacated, and they'll be having a tournament, although it's not called a tournament because Vince is weird, and that will end up having the finals for that in the Greatest Royal Rumble, or on that show. Which the original rumor for that show was The Bar fighting the Hardys. So, you'll see. We'll see. Also, on a very jam-packed episode of Raw, Paige officially confirms her retirement from in-ring competition. Now, does this mean that Absolution is done? That is debatable. Certainly with a shakeup happening next week, you could be like, alright, we're going to put them on different brands and that kind of thing. So, that would not surprise me at all. But man, what a shame. What a real shame that, as much as Steph attempts to take credit for the women's evolution, Paige and Emma, like seriously, that was the deal. As much as they might try to rewrite history, that was the deal. That kind of said, hey, wait, this could totally work on a grander scale, and not just in NXT. So, there is that bit of weirdness. Alright, can I... Under 2 minutes! 1, 2... Oh, I came so close. We had the continuing Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens deal where they're trying to get hired, and Kurt Angle took a shot on air at TNA, which is funny because they aren't called TNA anymore. So they put out a tweet saying, "We are Impact," which was really good. But that may have been the first mention or on-air shot of TNA, like, ever? Like, actually by name. Like, I don't think I've ever done that by name before. So, that's kind of curious. Anyway, certainly Kurt would know. He spent a lot of years there, so... and that also may have been a shock considering they just got EC3 and Lashley. And also they just fired Del Rio, so,
Alright, Big Show destroyed Cena's time. Cena got the win, but that wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough.
Tonight's competition.
So is this set up for me to be able to hit one pedigree at Triple H and then win? That sounds like they're all going to have 1, 1, and 1. It's going to be a tie, because, wrestling. Like, generally, when you have a 2 out of 3 falls match, it goes to the third fall. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it does.
What? I can't be.
Oh, yeah.
Triple H is the winner of tonight's championship.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't let the handicap
1, 1, and 1. Who did he fight, though?
Going into WrestleMania. But I'm far from panicking. After all, ECW is represented by Big Show. What comes down to it, no other WWE superstar can stand up to him. We're out of time for ECW tonight. The Champions Challenges will continue next week on SmackDown.
So basically, they gave you an impossible task there that you were never going to be able to finish. Because video games. Condition fulfilled. Unlock the street clothes front and the dirt sheet arena. Okay. 1 to 1 to 1.
On the eve of WrestleMania, Jim Rossitaz here, welcoming you to a very important edition of SmackDown. This is the last night of the Champions Challenge. Right here on SmackDown. This is huge, man.
Right.
Triple H, Cena, Big Show will have their final competition before they square off at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, the WWE Chairman, Mr. McMahon himself, is standing by to explain a little bit more about Champion of Champions.
Thank you, JR. I must say with a sense of pride that the Champions Challenge has been a rousing success. At WrestleMania, things will get even more heated. The three competitors will engage in a Champion of Champions Iron Man match.
Oh, good.
All three will be in the ring simultaneously, trying to defeat one another. It might be Falls Count Anywhere, it might be a tables match, or it could be Hell in a Cell. Regardless, at the end of the time period, I will crown the superstar with the most decisions as Champion of Champions. But there's one more challenge tonight, something I call the Beat the Clock Gauntlet Challenge.
Oh boy.
Each superstar must beat a series of opponents in a shorter time than the other two to win this week's point. Good luck to all three champions.
The game beat all three superstars and logged a respectable time.
Okay.
Respectable. I consider it pretty darn impressive. There aren't many people that can beat three rough twos back-to-back like that. We'll see if John Cena can do it, and do it better than the game did next.
Now, are they just setting me up to fail again, or not? There's a phone call.
I saw the format tonight, and you have to try to beat me, Morrison, and Mike Knox in the same night. I know for a fact that's not gonna happen.
I feel like no matter what I do here, Big Show's going to do it faster, and then he gets the point, and then he chooses the stipulation. I think that's my guess. Anyway, that'll be tomorrow. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. I'll see you next time, right here on this channel. And I'm out.